how sometimes just standing up early in the morning can feel a little bit because we sort of have stiffness in some areas, especially, I said this last week, like the ankles can take a little bit of warming up in the morning. So whilst you're here, just bring one foot, alternate between the feet, one foot to all of the feet. Sort of stretching out the toes as well. And then you can point the toes, roll over the front a little bit, nothing too extreme, it is still early, but just bringing in some movement. And then, if that feels okay, we'll do our sort of rising up onto the balls of the feet, and then lowering, try and lower under some control, doesn't have to be super slow. If you want to challenge yourself, then you can sort of do a count as you lower the heels down. Challenge the balance, you can inhale up, lift the arms up overhead. And lower them down on the exhale. So now bring in the breath and see if we can keep it in time. Really stretch up at the top, exhale it down. 2 more. Okay, let's give the ankles a little bit of a rest. Shake mat. I can feel like my ankles this morning. Once again. Remember, you have a slight inward turn of the big toes when you're in your mountain pose. Not, again, nothing extreme, just slightly. We get that internal or medial rotation of the femurs and at the hip, and that actually assists us when we come to our folds. Enough science. Okay. Inhale, reach the arms up. We're going to keep our heels flat to the mat now. Exhale, slowly roll it down. Again, enough bend in the knees so that you can bring the palms down to the mat. We find our first forward fold. Just rock forwards and back, heels to the balls of the feet. Gently, very gently. And after you've rocked a few times back and forth, make it so that the weight is in the middle of your feet. That's where you're stabilizing from. Use the breath here. Next, inhale, activate the legs, sweep the hands up and overhead. Exhale, send it down. Bless me. Inhale it up. Exhale it down. And again, bring in that rock back and forth. See if you can keep the palms on the mat. Next, inhale, bring it to your crouch. Open the chest, really fill the belly up, take a nice deep inhale. Exhale, heels come down, we send the hips up, forward fold. I'm going to do 5 of these, so that was 1. In time with your breath. Hold it at the top, hold your fold. Maybe take a little ragdoll. And inhale, sweep it up. Arms up overhead. Rise up onto the balls of the feet once again. Reach, reach, reach. Exhale. lower it down, shake off the legs. Okay, and then we're just going to bring in some twists to sort of keep warming the spine up, okay? So we're going to do our arm swings. Start nice and small, trying to keep the hips square with the top of the mat and twisting through the waist, twist through the torso. And then as you get a little bit warmer, just increase the intensity. And slow it back down. Come to the top of the mat again. We're going to inhale, reach the arms up and overhead. Turn to the right and allow the arms to come down. Once again, we're pressing this right hip forward so that the hip stays square, but we're trying to bring our chest and shoulders almost at a 90-degree angle to them. Inhale it up. Exhale, twist to the left this time, and we have to pull that left hip forward. Twist through the waist. One more each side. Inhale the arms up. Exhale, send it down, forward fold. We inhale to step both feet back, finding our high plank, and then we're just going to exhale, lower all the way down, as controlled as we can. Now we're going to do a little bit of a heart opener, so bring the elbows underneath the shoulders, so we're resting on the forearms, fingers spread. On an inhale, we're going to engage, press the hips into the mat, and open the chest, draw the shoulders back, try and retract the shoulders. Find our Sphinx. If it's more comfortable, you can actually bring the elbows slightly forward of the shoulders, that is okay. Exhale, lower it down, give the hips a little wiggle side to side. And then if that was enough for you, if that's what you've got for the moment, then stay there. But if you want to increase movement slightly, you can bring your palms underneath the shoulders and we'll come into baby cobra. So if you were with me last week, we did this. Now the idea being that we're not really pressing all that much with the hands, we want to do this actively. So we press through the tops of the feet, engage the glutes, engage muscles in the back. Inhale. Exhale to lower. Do a couple of these, so in your own time, inhaling to come up. See if you can hold for a couple of breaths. Exhale it down. And then just make a sort of pillow with the hands in front of the face. Wriggle the hips side to side. And once again, we're going to come into our full cobra now if we have it. If not, stay with your baby cobra. It's all good. So palms underneath the shoulders. We press the hips into the mat. Inhale. And I'm still active, still engaging the muscles in my back, my glutes. I'm still pressing with the tops of my feet. Take a nice inhale. Exhale, lower it down. And we're going to come into that one more time. And notice again, I've got that micro bend in my elbows. There's no need for the arms to be completely straight. This time I'm going to take a nice inhale. See if I can get a little bit further, open that chest up more. And as I exhale, I'm going to press my hips back down to come into child's pose. So big toes touching. Lowering the chest, heart center down to the mat. Allow the forehead to just gently rest on the mat. Take 2 breaths here. And on that next inhale, walk the hands up towards. We're going to reach them up and overhead. Exhale to find our twist. If you can, gaze over that back shoulder, and that's great. But don't put the neck under really any strain. Inhale the arms up. Exhale, twist to the other side. Inhale it back to center, reach the arms up. And then if you can from here, try and hinge at the hip and work on really keeping the glutes as pressed into the heels as you can. They're going to lift towards the end, but just see if you can make it into your child's pose. Good little test. From here, we're going to inhale it forwards, finding our tabletop. Just briefly, we're going to take 2 cat-cows. So inhaling, exhale, that's 1. Inhale, drop the belly. Exhale, tuck the crown of the head, tailbone under. Inhale, back to center, check in with the alignment, and we're going to curl the toes under. Send the hips high, downward facing dog. Adjust as you need. So make sure the feet are at a comfortable position for you. Don't be too rigid with, this idea that they need to be hip width or, taking specific measurements. Just make sure that they're comfortable for your hips. Really pedal the legs out. Nice. Find some stillness if you can, if it's comfortable. Remember, you can have that micro bend in the knees. Angle the big toes towards one another slightly. Inhale, plant the left foot, bring the right foot up. And we're just going to do a little bit of hip warming up again, so drawing circles with the knee. One direction and then the other. Really notice if there's any stiffness. Extend that leg out. See if we can come to our 3-legged dog. But we want to keep the hips square with the mat. Parallel, so we're not opening out, stacking one above the other. They're going to be next to one another. And then try and find that tilt as well. Exhale, lower the right foot down. Switching to the other side, we inhale, the left leg comes up. And we draw our circles on the other side. And changing direction, we've done a few. See if you can find your 3-legged dog. So again, we extend the leg out, push through the heel, toes point down to the floor. Actively engaging the legs in the muscle to see if we can bring it slightly higher while still maintaining our hips parallel with the mat. It's a tricky one. Exhale it down. Inhale, rise up onto the balls of the feet. Exhale to flex the knees fully, finding almost a sort of raised child's pose if you like. Inhale, send the hips up. Exhale, press the heels down. Inhale, rise onto the balls of the feet. Exhale, bend the knees, hovering above the mat. Inhale, send the hips high. Exhale, lower the heels. Next inhale, we walk the feet up to the hands. Find your half lift, fingertips to the mat. Exhale, palms come to the mat. Belly to thighs. Check in with your foundation. So stable through the middle of the feet. Active in the legs, we inhale, sweep the arms up and overhead. Exhale them down, shake the legs off. Take a quick sip of water if you have some. Okay, standing at the top of the mat, we come into our sun salutation. So we'll do sun salutation B. So if you can chaturanga, you can sort of lower and come into up dog, then go for that. If you're not really sure or you don't feel super comfortable, then just lower yourself down to the mat when we take the vinyasa and come into whichever cobra worked for you this morning. Okay, it's all good. It's all about your practice, your flow. So starting in your mountain pose, take a nice deep inhale. Exhale. Next inhale, we send the arms up overhead. And we send the hips back like we're trying to sit in a chair, finding our chair pose. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, half lift. Exhaling, we plant the hands, step the feet back, or you can jump the feet back. And this is where we take the vinyasa. So we chaturanga, or lower all the way down. Exhale it back, downward facing dog. Inhale, we bring the right foot through between the hands, finding warrior one. So again, you can use the width of your mat to keep the hips nice and square. Inhale the arms out either side of the head. Inhale to reach, exhale to ground a little bit deeper, keeping that front knee above the ankle. Inhale, reach, exhale, the hands come down, we step the feet back once again. And we meet in downward facing dog. Inhale the left foot at this time. Find warrior one on the other side. Again, checking in, chest and hips square with the top of the mat. Make sure we wiggle our toes, that front foot, we're not clenching, not gripping the mat tightly. Inhale, reach. Exhale. Send it back once again. Exhale, down facing dog. Inhale, rise up onto the balls of the feet. We walk the feet up towards the hands into our half lift. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, sweeping the hands up, we find our chair. Now from here I want to make sure that you can see your toes. So if you have nice nail polish on, make sure you can see the nail polish. We're going to hold here for 10, 7, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Inhale it up. Exhale, release the hands, shake it off. Nice. Good to get a bit of heat in the thighs in the morning. Okay, so now I want you to use the length of your mat. We're going to come into some wide leg folds. So my feet are roughly like 2 hip widths apart again. No need to sort of measure. We just want to make sure that it's fairly comfy for my hips. I can keep my hips nice and central. I want to keep my spine lengthened, so nice posture. Whether it helps to have your palms on the hips or reach the arms up and overhead, it's completely up to you. We're going to inhale, open the chest. Exhale, tilt the hips, hinging at the hips. We send the heart center forwards, lowering down to wherever we get to. If palms do come to the mat, then make sure fingertips are in line with the toes. You can take hold of anywhere in the sort of lower leg. Avoid the knee, particularly like resting on the knee joint, but you can also rest the palms on the thighs, it's all good. Whatever helps you maintain that hip tilt, whatever helps you keep your chest open. Use the breath here, particularly if this is one that you find quite uncomfortable. Next inhale, we're going to walk the hands over to the right foot. Exhale to try and lower the chest towards the knee, bring belly to thigh as much as you can. Use the breath. 2 more here. Inhale, bring the hands through center, we send it over to the left. Exhale over that left leg. Two more breaths here. Inhale, we bring the hands back to center. Exhale into our forward fold. Feel that heat come into the legs. Next, inhale, we want to activate the legs, maybe bring the palms to the hips and gradually bring the torso up. Heel toe the feet in, give them a nice shake out. And then find your wide leg stance once again. Now, if you practiced with me last week, we did some Skandasana or low side lunge. So we're going to come into that today. So if you're taking your low side lunge, then you can keep your both feet pointing towards the long edge of the mat. And you're just going to bend one knee, trying to keep the chest sort of central between the two, nice and stable. We're not leaning over to the right. If you're coming into your Skandasana, then it'd probably help you to point the toes of the extended leg towards the sort of short edge of the mat and lower down onto the other side here. Because if you try and keep your foot pointing forwards, it won't really work. You need the rotation. So whichever one you're taking, find that now. If you're in your Skandasana, try and keep the heel of the bent leg, that needs to be on the mat. If you can come to a crouch, then ideally try and work on your low side lunge before coming into Skandasana. Otherwise, what's going to happen is you're going to sort of build up the pose from the wrong foundations. So if you're in your Skandasana, maybe you have fingertips on the mat, maybe you have hands to prayer like me. Check in with the breath. We want 3 nice deep breaths here. If you're in your low lunge, see if you can ground down. In your exhale, lower the hips. Keeping that chest open, shoulders back. Okay, whether you're in low lunge or your Skandasana, make your way so that you are now sat on the mat, one leg extended, one leg bent. We're now going to come into a single leg seated fold. So just angle yourself around so that the torso comes over that extended leg. Fingertips either side of the leg. We inhale, draw up through the crown of the head. Exhale, hinge at the hips, walk the fingertips forwards. Keep that spine nice and long. reach from the heart center, from that chest, reach forwards there as if you're trying to get back to the toes. Inhale, walk the hands up. Left palm comes to right knee, the right hand comes behind, find our twist. Inhale, back to center. One more time, we fold over this left leg. Exhaling to walk the fingertips, really tilt the hips. 3 breaths here. Inhale, walk it up. Find your twist. Inhale, back to center. Find your way to Skandasana or your low side lunge. Press it up, whatever way you can, back to your wide leg stance. And then we're going to come to the other side. So once again, if you're coming into Skandasana, the extended leg, the toes need to point to the short edge of the mat, center the hips, and then send it down. If you're coming into your low lunge, keep the chest open. As you tell, my left side is not the best for Skandasana. 3 breaths here. And then allow yourself to come to a seated position, extend that right leg out in front, the left foot comes to the inner thigh. And we take our forward folds from here. On the exhale, hinge the hips, send that tailbone back. Two more breaths. Inhale, walk the hands up. We find our twist to the side. Nice seated posture, drawing up through the crown of the head, twisting through the waist. Inhale, back to the front. Walk the hands as we exhale, find that forward fold. 3 breaths here. Inhale, walk the hands up. One more twist. Inhale, back to center. Find yourself a nice comfortable seat, whether that's on a cushion, whether it's sort of legs crossed, on your knees, however you are most comfortable. Just find a moment of stillness.
What the hell were we doing when we first started out? Had no idea what we were in for, what this was about, and I never knew.
One deep breath in, fill up the belly. Hold at the top. For 4, 3, 2, 1. Exhale through the mouth. Ready for the day ahead, we bring the hands to prayer at heart center. Inhale as we draw the thumbs up to the third eye between the eyebrows. and back down to heart centers. We bow our heads, honouring our practice and honouring each other. Namaste.